Okay, for this third example, I don't have the lines helping me this time. So now I've got to actually think about it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start here, first of all, positive or negative line? Negative, good, good. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, and notice I'm now on the same line that next point is. So I've got -2. We're all okay with that. Now I'm going to run over 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's -2/4, which is going to become -1/2. Are we all okay with how rise over run works?
Yes.
All right, let's move on to the next part. Now, let's say that I decide to be a jerk and I want to not give you a graph where you can just spend time counting on. There is another formula to use for this, and that is called the slope formula. Not to be confused with slope-intercept form, this is just called the slope formula. Now, this table and this graph actually go together. So I'm going to use them so that we can counteract both of our arguments. I want you to write this formula down. M, what does M stand for? Slope, good. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, now let's say that AJ is just not listening to me today, just having a rough day, and forgets what this formula is. This is on the Algebra 1 star chart. The Algebra 1 star chart is attached to the homepage of your Canvas course. So if you forget this, you have access to it. But I would recommend writing it down so that you don't forget it, okay? Okay, now Evan, let me ask you a question. What do you think these x's and these y's represent? I appreciate the honesty. There's no judgment in that. Stone, what do you think?
Ordered pairs.
Yeah, they just represent ordered pairs, you guys. So like from a graph, they're ordered pairs. From a table, they're ordered pairs. And if we notice right here, I have an x here, and I have a y there. So again, everything is filling in together. Everything means the same thing. Here's the one catch. Here's the one thing that you have to hear about this formula today. It doesn't matter which points that we use as long as we keep them consistent. Here's what I mean by that. If this is x1, then this has to be y1. If this is x2, then this has to be y2. It doesn't matter what points they match up on because it's the same equation. And if it's a function, that means that it's following the exact same rules. Does that make sense? So like what I could literally do is I could pick these two, Zoe could pick these two, JT could pick these two, and Colin could pick these two. And it wouldn't matter. And the best part about it is, it doesn't matter if I make this my one or this my one. It makes no difference as long as you keep them organized. So let me show you how this formula works now. M equals y2, which is 39. Again, I just made that up. Minus y1, which is what?
38.
Anybody have any objections to that right there? Over x2, which is 3, minus x1, which is 0. Are we okay there? Okay, well 39 minus 30 is 9. 3 minus 0 is what?
3.
Okay, so I'm telling you the slope is 9 over 3. But what did I tell you on the last problem that we have to do with every single slope that we ever come in contact with? Simplify. Well, 9 divided by 3 is going to equal 3. You could choose to write that as 3 over 1, or you can just write it as 3. It makes no difference to me. They mean the exact same thing. Now, let's look at this. This right here, change in y. This triangle means delta or change. So change of y, which is the difference of y, y2 minus y1. They got 3 over 1. But notice that we got 9 over 3. But because they're a function and we're simplifying every time, do we agree that 3 is the same as 3 up here? It worked itself out. The numbers that they used just produced smaller numbers, which meant that they didn't have to simplify. We're all okay with that. Okay, go to the table over, or the graph over here. These are going up by 3s. So this is 30, 33, 36. So it went up 3, and then it went over from 1 to 2. So do we see how it's still 3 over 1? or 3. Does that make sense? Okay, are we okay here? Questions? Okay. How am I doing on time? Cool. We're still good, we're still good. Alright, last page here. All this is this is just re-explaining what I just told you. The slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, that's where we're getting this from. Then, these are ordered pairs. These ordered pairs work out. These are all different problems. Like this is problem 1, this is problem 2, this is problem 3. Here we could find the slope. Here we could take any of these ordered pairs to find slope. Over there we could also find slope. So let me just show you real quick. M equals y2, which is 13, minus y1, which is 5. We're good with that setup. How would I set up this x part down here, Bennett?
X equals 7 and y equals 13.
Remember, all the x's are on the bottom. So x is 7 and x is 3. You had it right. I just want you to make sure you understand the vocabulary there. 13 minus 5 is 8. 7 minus 3 is what?
4.
So what should my slope be?
2.
We're okay with that? Okay, let's go to the next one. Addison, pick an ordered pair.
2 to -2.
Okay, so Addison's chosen this for our ones. Okay. Ben, pick a 2. Pick a second one.
-1, -3.
We're okay with that? That's good there. Okay, so let's set this up. We're going to have y2, -3, minus y1, which is -2. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have minus and negative. Does anybody remember what we do when we have a minus negative, JT? It becomes a plus sign. So I'm going to overemphasize this so you guys understand what I did there. Okay, then we're going to have x2, which is -1, minus x1, -2. Does anybody remember what we do when we have minus and negative? Luke? Yeah, it becomes a giant addition problem. Okay, well, -3 plus 2 is -1.
That's the first process.
-1 plus 2 becomes what?
1.
Positive 1. Are we okay with that? Okay, what is -1 divided by positive 1? So don't we agree that the slope could just be -1? We're all okay with that? All right, over here, same thing. Here's what I want you to do. If your birthday is between January and June, I want this to be your 1 and this to be your 2. If your birthday is between January and June, that's your 1 and that's your 2. Do you understand? What's up?
Is that including June or anything in between?
And including June. So January, February, March, April, May, and June. If your birthday is July to December, I want this to be your 1 and this to be your 2. Does everybody understand what I'm asking you to do there? I want to compare and see if we get the same answers. We should, but I just want to make sure that we see it together. So again, January through June are doing the left 2, and then July through December are doing the rights. When you have an answer, raise your hand for me, please. Hayden, what'd you get?
2 full.
2 over 4,
4
so 1/2. Abby, what'd you get? 4 over 2. Okay. Stephen, what'd you get?
I got
1/2 again. Carter?
I got 1/2.
Addison?
1/2.
Luke? Colin?
1/2.
Okay, so Abby, can I tell you what I think you did wrong? I think you switched your X and your Y's. I think you did the X's on top and the Y's on the bottom. Because if you did it backwards, you'd have 2 over 4, which would be 1/2. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so do we see how it works out the same way? I just called on random people, and everybody had the same answer. Let me talk about your homework assignment real quick. I know that time is running out. Bear with me. Let me go over this to make sure you understand it. Just bear with me for just a second. Okay, for your assignment, online students are going to submit it face to face. We're going to do it on notebook paper, and then we'll grade it again in class like we did last week. Does that make sense? I think that was helpful. If you guys don't like that, talk to me and we'll discuss it. Okay, so on these first couple, it says find the slope of each line. You're just going to count them as rise over run. Everybody okay with that? I don't know why. I guess it's just a preview. Let me click on this document real quick. Again, I know y'all ready to go. I want to make sure you see this. Alright, I'll have to look at it and see what the issue is. All you're doing today is finding slope. Okay, cool. Here, bear with me. I know you guys are ready to go. So look, you have the lines that you're finding slope for. Alright, I'll figure out what the issue is. Then it's going to have some where it's got given you two ordered pairs, and you have to figure out the slope by using the formula. If you have any questions, let me know. It should be pretty self-explanatory. I'll work on why the preview is not working right now, and we'll go from there, okay? Perfect. Will you hit stop on it for me?